Every day, thousands of dogs and cats are waiting to find homes. Too many never find them. Fortunately, thanks to Pet Rescue, hundreds of dogs and cats every year are getting another chance at life. Over the past 25 years, our volunteer organization has taken in almost 10,000 abandoned or neglected animals and found them new homes. Many of our animals come from southern states where the overpopulation problem is worse than anywhere else in the country.
Animals in shelters everywhere have a hard time, but the shelters in the south are much more overcrowded than the shelters up north, and some of these shelters have to euthanize on a daily basis in order to make room. By sending them up here, we're giving them a chance of survival.
Pet Rescue is one of many groups that pull the most adoptable animals from these shelters. We work primarily with local rescuers in South Carolina, West Virginia, and North Carolina.
Most of the dogs are just left to run loose and fend for themselves, and you know, there are a lot of dogs in pens. There are a lot of dogs on chains. A lot of dogs on chains.
In Gaffney, South Carolina, owner turn-ins are put down that day. Strays are given 5 days to be claimed before they suffer the same fate.
It's just very, very bad. There's a lot of stray dogs. The shelter probably takes in 25, 30 dogs a day, and it's only a 24-run shelter. You can imagine how many dogs in a given week.
Angel was found running down a busy highway. She almost got hit several times. Bouncer's litter mates all died of parvo in a shelter. He was the only one of 9 to survive. Bailey was turned in by her owner and rescued minutes before she was to be put down. Marley was heartworm positive, full of mats, and 2 hours from being euthanized when she was chosen for rescue. Her picture was sent nationwide in a last-ditch effort to find someone who would take her. Daphne was brought into a shelter, missing patches of fur, with goop in her eyes and nose and running a fever.
I've shed a lot of tears over these guys because there's always those that you can't save. You look at them and you just can't save them for one reason or another. Overcrowding, the foster homes are full, no room to put them, and it just breaks my heart. These guys are really lucky, really, really lucky.
When they come up here, there's usually a large group of volunteers gathered to welcome them. It's a very joyous event. People are all excited, and the vehicle pulls in, and these animals are all in there in crates.
Oh, it's these guys.
This one out.
Hi, pretty one in there with the blue eyes. Hi. Look at this cutie! She likes kids.
She likes kids, which is typical of a hound.
Each volunteer takes a pet and pampers it, and within minutes these pets realize that life is going to be different from now. Some of them might take a little longer, but it's wonderful to see the transformation in these animals. And you can actually literally see in their eyes.
Volunteers check out all the new arrivals and give them shots and medication. They also take their pictures for the website and send them off to foster homes or boarding facilities until they get their new homes. Sybil was trained in a local prison program for 10 weeks. When no one wanted to adopt her afterwards, she was going to be euthanized. Instead, she came to Pet Rescue.
Is that the one that was trained, the prison?
That's the prison dog.
So pretty.
She made new friends and showed how she can sit. Bettina was rescued by a group of volunteers who went to West Virginia to get a first-hand glimpse of the rescue work being done there. She lived under a trailer with a bunch of other dogs. She didn't belong to anyone and had to fend for herself. She arrived scared and hungry, really hungry, and covered with ticks. She had more than a dozen in one ear.
One of our dogs, Frances, came up with 2 puppies that weren't hers. They were only 7 days old and were orphaned and had to be bottle fed, but Frances took them on as hers, and even though she had no milk, she let them nurse on her and she cleaned them and was a very good mother to them. Even when Frances came up here and the puppies were already 4 weeks old, she still treated them like her own puppies.
Usually the animals are healthy and placed quickly, but if not, pet rescue volunteers and foster families do whatever is needed to make them more adoptable.
My job as a foster parent is to get these dogs in great shape so they are ready for their permanent home, their forever home, that they are well socialized, that they're healthy, that they know they're loved, that they're used to people and children and other animals, and get them ready for the real world, a world that's going to love them. Hercules came up with his 4 siblings from West Virginia in horrific condition. Within 12 hours of getting him here, I found him lying limp on my floor, totally lifeless. Within an hour, we had him at the vet's office. He got an emergency transfusion, and we only had 1 chance to do that. In the course of the next 5 weeks that I had him and his siblings, they all were on medication for worms, parasites, mange, plus they had to be on baths every other day for their mange. As their treatment became more effective, they became bouncy, happy, snuggly, wonderful puppies that loved to play.
Daisy was 5 years old and blind in one eye. Her hair was so matted it had to be shaved. She had scabs on her back, undiagnosed tumors, and a uterine infection. Her foster mom kept her for 3 weeks, getting her the medical care she needed and giving her a place to play and sleep and just making her part of the family.
When I first saw her, I wasn't sure if I could handle fostering her, and I brought her home with me, and it was a lot of work, but completely life-changing. Watching this little girl get well and come out of her shell and giving her to her new mom was the best experience I've ever had.